and welcome to the Hope Hotline. Thank you for joining us today. We got our own professional. Look at her. She's got a white jacket on and everything. She came to play.
I did.
Today. And I did too. I finally got my silver hoops back. I gave them away to somebody. Somebody was like, "Oh, I love your hoops." And I was like, "Well, here you go." I've been without my silver hoops this size. I have plenty. But there's ranging in size. I lost this size, but I feel like myself today.
These are the biggest hoops I have.
I can help you with that. So can Vanessa.
Yes.
Vanessa's brought me some great hoops back from Hawaii and stuff. So you feel good in your jacket.
I do.
I feel good in my hoops. All is well with the world.
Yes.
So how are you guys doing over there, girls?
We're doing
I'm
great.
a little tired.
Why is that?
We were at the river last night.
Oh, that's right. We were
that's
all at the river
right.
last night.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It was a long but good day. So I'm a
Yeah, you
little
guys were the
slower
whole
today.
day.
Yeah.
I was last night. I'm going back tonight. She did so good.
Yeah.
She was
I
great.
know.
If you didn't watch it, you need to go back, man. She preached a killer message.
Yeah.
She always
It was-
does.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Oh my gosh.
Always good.
Loved every minute of it.
Good stuff.
And I hadn't been to the river since like Fire Week. And so as soon as I entered the sanctuary, I look over to Tracy and I'm like bawling. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm bawling. But I'm like literally like.
You started crying for no reason.
Immediately.
and you
Well,
don't know?
we walked in during worship and it was just so thick in there.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
powerful.
so thick. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It was.
and I don't cry. Like I do cry, but I
No,
don't
you
usually
don't.
just cry.
Yeah, you
that
don't
way.
just cry. Like some people are easy criers.
Yeah,
and
and
I
I was
wouldn't
just
to
like,
say you are.
what's happening?
Yeah,
The worship
yeah, you
was
are,
good.
Tyler. Tyler's
Yeah,
an easy
everything.
crier.
Yeah, it was so good.
So
really
good, so good. So tune in tonight or go tonight. Like how much longer is it? It's till tomorrow morning, right?
I think they have a
morning.
Saturday morning service. Yeah.
then they
so
have their
Friday,
tea.
And then they have their tea. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is sold out. So
Yeah. Don't try to go.
Shocker. That was beautiful. How they have that set up.
dude,
Everything. They do
her,
such a great job.
Podium,
It's gorgeous.
her
Really?
podium was out of
Yeah.
this world.
They should never go back to the way it was.
The colors were perfect.
Ever. The podium is completely all flowers.
Oh, nice.
Vines and
Yes.
it's not vines, but it's like, what is it? Stems and what else? What would you call that?
Filler.
Green. It's the greenery is
Yeah,
like
it's like-
killer.
yeah.
But it's not stems.
Yeah.
Not just
don't
stems and
know.
it's not vines. But what is that?
Yeah.
That they
I
used.
don't even know, but
I don't know either.
I don't either. But it was
Natalie,
beautiful.
it is gorgeous.
Yeah, my car's gone. I have my husband's truck. I had to give my car up to my daughter. Her car got towed to get fixed. So I don't have my car.
Well, I'm going tonight. So if you decide you want to go, but still, like it's unbelievable.
So
The-
beautiful.
It's just gorgeous. They knocked it out of the park
They really
on
did.
the
Color
decorations.
palette
And
was just incredible too.
Yep.
if you're a person that loves a lot of, what do you call those, photo ops?
Yes.
Yes,
This girl.
that's the place for you.
Yep.
How many photos did you take, Tracy?
Not a lot, because we kind of got there. It took us forever to get there in the morning. It took us like 2 hours,
For no
15
reason.
minutes. There was traffic the whole way. So then we got there, we were trying to rush in. And then we left. We got a couple photos, and then we left. And then we got back, and it was time to go back in again.
Yeah,
So
and you got to rush and do all that
rush
too.
to get back in. Yeah.
Yep,
So
I get it.
I would have taken more, but it was beautiful. Every spot. I was like, ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's good.
Gorgeous.
I know.
Man,
And
it
they
was
had
gorgeous.
different vendors there too
They
this
did.
year.
Yeah.
They had an IV vent, like an IV
Like hydration?
Yeah.
hydration
Nice.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they do have different ones this time. I agree. The boutique area, some really pretty dresses.
Yeah.
Really pretty dresses.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's
It
really
is.
good.
It really is.
Really great job. Do you want to do the thing really quick, Tracy,
I
and
do.
then we'll get everybody
Yes.
because the sooner they share, more people will hear what she has to say. But
I know. And we can go live on TikTok now. So I'm trying to figure out how we can
that's right.
do
Do
that.
you want to just go live on, not worry about this, and just go
No.
straight to?
I'll do it real fast just so we can share. But I'm just trying to figure out. I don't know how that's going to work because it's making me pick a topic and none of the topics. It's like alien abduction, Roblox.
What?
I don't know. Yeah. So I'm like, which one do we pick? All right. Yeah, I'll do this real quick. I'll have Talia help me figure that out, and then maybe we'll go live on TikTok. Be our first time. All right. So if you are on Rumble, real quick, like, share, and repost. So comment real quick. Just say follow or watch with us on your repost, and we'll try to get that out there. Watch with us. And then make sure that you are liking it as well. And just send us a little comment telling us where you're watching from. If you're on Facebook, you can come over to Rumble and hang out in the live chat. If you're on YouTube, same thing. You can come over and hang out on Rumble in the live chat as well. And Black Robe is always up and available for the live. So if you're watching a replay, you'll have to go pick another one. You can do the audio podcast as well. So those are all your options to watch. And we need you to send in your questions. We've got some good ones on the list to get to at some point in the near future. We are on Instagram. You can follow our stories. You can follow all the stuff that we're posting and anything new that's going on. And then, of course, we are on TikTok. And so we're going to try and go live. That'll be really fun. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what it's going to look like. But you know what? Live and learn. That's entrepreneur life. So we're going to figure it out. And then Hope is also on TikTok. And she's got some fun questions on there. So go check those out and then repost and share and do all the good stuff you can do for us on TikTok. That'd be really great. And then we've got merch available too. So you'll go to foundationchurchfl.com and you'll click shop and all the merch is available. Everything that you could ever want: a shirt, a hat, a mug, and a spoon for spanking times. So please go over there and grab that. And last but not least, we have Natalie in the house today. So I'm going to get her. I have one that has all of her information on, so I'm going to throw this one up real quick, but this is her company and her website, and I will get the one with her phone number, so we'll be able to switch over to that when necessary. But that is all. That's it. I think that we've got everything on here. Yep, that's it. Here it comes.
Hot diggity. Well, we're ready to go. Let's just get right into it, because now I'm going to talk about popcorn lung first. Now, or would you prefer, because you have to do questions, would you prefer me to go to number 2 first?
I'm ready.
Tracy,
No, I'm
so
good.
you're trying to do this TikTok shop thingy or TikTok live or whatever you call it. I
We
don't know
could probably
TikTok,
sell
guys.
some stuff. We got
I'm
some
still
stuff up
learning
there.
too.
Yeah, we know you're learning because we go on and we see you playing.
You got all your games.
I like
You're
playing
like-
my little games.
Awesome. We like you playing your games too. You're entertaining for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Well, no,
it.
you're
Such a treat.
what we get to see on your end is fun.
Yes.
You're having fun while watching you is fun.
Do that.
So, would that help you if I did that, Tracy?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, now I know that this is done because Norma does it. And when I got sick one time, Norma's like, well, why don't we try this? And I was like, whatever. It didn't work for me. But does castor oil in your belly button actually work by detoxing?
So, castor oil in the belly button. Castor oil is known to penetrate really, really deep in your tissue. It helps break up adhesions, lipomas. You can put them on your eyelids, and it helps break up like cataracts.
Wait a minute. Like lipomas, the fatty pieces,
It breaks them down. As long as it takes to actually get them, it doesn't do it overnight.
Right.
Unfortunately, we live in an instant society, like I've said on countless times. It's something that you have to continuously do over and over and over again and be consistent. And most of these things, most people aren't consistent with it enough for it to actually do the job that it's supposed to do.
Right.
However, in the belly button, no, not necessarily. Most of the stuff that studies have shown and that I've read is when you do it in your belly button, it's more like the massage itself, massaging it into your belly button actually promotes lymphatic kind of drainage throughout your gut. Now you can do castor oil packs on your liver, lay down, help, and what it does is it helps your liver speed up to kind of do its own job, which is to detoxify, because that's what your liver's made to do.
Yeah. So people are doing that. Like they sell like, oh, that was because you do it too. That's Talia's. You see,
Yeah.
Most people don't notice anything.
oh, well, I didn't notice it. And they buy like Norma's got all these like bandage thingies that you stick over your belly button so that the castor oil doesn't seep out because it'll ruin your sheets and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because it's so thick. Castor
yeah.
oil is like really thick. So it's it's rooted in an older type of medicine practice called Ayurvedic medicine, which is like long ago. But most of that stuff is, a lot of it's like mind over matter when it comes to that part. But if you constantly and consistently do it over a period of time, adhesions, lipomas, it is known for breaking it down and taking it away.
Why is it in a lipoma? And some people don't know what a lipoma is.
It's
but
a fatty
it
tumor.
looks like when you open it up, it looks like, and I know this from Dr. Pimple Popper,
Pimple popper, yeah.
but it looks like chicken fat.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I had a huge one removed on my arm.
What?
Right
Do you have a scar from it?
I do. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
It's huge scar.
What? That's huge.
It was huge.
I have one that's located right here. And I haven't done the castor oil packs. I started, but it's hard to get a good one because of where it is on my neck. And I'm definitely not having them go in and cut it out because it's right on my
yeah.
spine. So
Yeah, they say you got to be super careful
Yeah,
when
so-
you're referring. Hold on. Go and stand. Just really quick. Do you mind? Or okay.
So how do you tell like if you have it or not? Because like hers is big. So like is yours big? Like can you feel it outside of your skin or only when you like massage?
no, you can feel it. Like,
Okay.
and it's movable.
Oh.
And it feels spongy, like sponge, like,
Like fat, like a fatty.
yeah, it's
Thingy?
like feels spongy. I can let you feel mine.
Oh, okay.
But that's how you know you have one.
Okay. Interesting. I just didn't know if like you knew right away or if it was like.
Well, you probably don't know when they're tiny enough, but as they grow and get bigger, then you do know.
Yeah, because how would you know? Vanessa, how long had you had it before you realized?
I don't know. I was very young. I was about 12.
Okay.
And so I just know that it got really big. And for like a split second, I just thought I was like building muscle because of where it was.
Oh my
so
That was
gosh.
not the case.
That's so funny.
So,
God, I love her.
I know,
She's
me too.
That's the best.
no.
And then you were
so-
devastated.
No, it was just a fatty
just
deposit.
And how do those masses how do they get created? Because I literally saw a guy in North Park going to Walmart and he had one on the back of his neck. Like his neck could not go all the way back. His neck was like this.
Most people are predisposed to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not like we could sit there and say that because you live this kind of lifestyle or you do this, that you're going to have it. It doesn't, most people are like
Like,
predisposed.
oh, okay. Because what I was more or less thinking is it like something like gets in a pore or something like that causes it. So it's not even anything like that.
No, it's deep down inside.
Wow. Gosh, that's so
It's kind of like
interesting.
an abscess or a cyst, right?
Right.
Where that they have to go in and cut out. You have to
Yeah.
get out the sac that it contains.
Right.
If you don't, it just keeps filling back up.
That's right.
But a lipoma is like a big, huge fatty, just like it's kind of like a tumor. It's just an overgrowth of a fat cell. It just keeps piling onto itself until the point where people need to get it removed.
But Dr. Pimple Popper, she even says with those, you got to get as much of it as you possibly can out. And it's not necessarily a sac. It's
No,
the
it's the
material.
cell. It's the cell itself, the fat cell itself. You have to get out. So it's a lot of like
Like where a cyst, it's the sac. If you don't get the sac, it will come back.
correct.
Yeah. I've learned
In
a
fact,
little
I
bit
just did
watching
one of
her.
those at the ER not too long ago.
Did you really? What was that like?
It was in her stomach. I felt so bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a cyst or a lipoma?
No, it was a cyst.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And they stink when they get popped.
Yeah.
It's
Felt bad for her.
nasty. Poor thing.
Yeah.
That's rough. Okay. Are we good to move to keep going?
Let's do it.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. I saw that vaping can cause something called popcorn lung. The way a surgeon described it was so gross. What have you heard about it? So I'm not sure who wrote this question, but so what is popcorn lung and what do you know about it?
So popcorn lung is a rare condition. It's actually called bronchiolitis obliterans. It's just a term for that because actually it's a very rare form of like disease in your lungs. And people that are found working with a chemical called diacetyl, in popcorn facilities, the popcorn flavoring, those people can get it as well. It's not just people who smoke cigarettes, right?
So people who smoke cigarettes can get popcorn lung?
Well, no.
I thought it was vaping.
Well, no, because here's the thing. They've done tons of studies because that same chemical is found in cigarettes. So for people to actually get popcorn lung, quote unquote, you have to be really exposed to a high amount of it. So even a person that's smoking a pack a day may not get popcorn lung. Like it's very rare. So vaping, yes, before 2015, that chemical was found in a whole bunch of vaping pens. And because people were like inhaling it a lot, then you had a higher incidence. So it wasn't as rare, but it still remains a rare condition. Tracy has a good picture of, so a normal, go back to the other one.
Okay.
A normal bronchial is open like that, right on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
It's nice, it's clear. Then when you start using, or you're getting exposed to that particular chemical, you start building up inflammation inside the bronchial. And then that ends up causing a whole bunch of mucus to start suffocating the bronchial itself. And then that makes scar tissue because then it can't move. And then when it can't move, that's when you can't make the air exchange that you need to make because everything's made down in the alveoli, which are the little round things that look like little grapes on a tree. Once those can't get what it needs, then those start to break down and die, and then they get scar up. And then the other picture is a true picture of what a popcorn lung kind of looks like. It scars up the whole entire lung, so then the lungs itself can't expand and do what it needs to do. So that's the one on the left is an X-ray of a lung, and you see the heart in the middle. You see the spine, you see the clavicle, you see your arms, you see all your ribs. And if you look closely, you see white little dots throughout there. Those are scar tissues of the bronchioli. And then the left side is where they kind of show the whole thing in a different way. But it's not just people who vape that get it. Unfortunately, it's rare. And if you work in a facility like the flavorings of popcorn, that chemical that they use on it can cause it as well. So just being exposed to that particular chemical.
Holy moly.
So vaping, essentially, you still get your nicotine. Yeah, you're still doing, you're smoking and you're still bringing different chemicals in while you're doing it. After 2015, they made sure that wasn't in there. Now, however, you can still get vaping materials that are kind of made on the black market, and they're not being as monitored. And people, like with THC ones and stuff like that, if they're not monitored correctly, you are going to end up with the same thing again, and you increase your risk of doing that. One of the things that is really bad about vaping is you're holding a little electronic thing in your hand.
Yes.
They can explode, and that actually happened to a cousin of mine. He was riding with his dad, and he was taking a hit on his vape, and the whole thing exploded, blew out the window, blew out most of his teeth. He had to have all his teeth redone. So you kind of it's not just smoking it can cause issues into your lungs itself, but you could have it actually blow up. And
Have you guys heard that before?
This is wild.
yeah.
Is that common that those things blow up?
It depends. It depends on where you're getting them from. So many of these things are made black market wise, and because they're sold cheaper, and people tend to buy the cheaper because they can afford it.
Because it's not cheap to vape.
Just like cigarette smoking is not cheap anymore.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh. Tracy, was it when you saw that thing? You saw something about vaping recently.
Yeah.
Was that, or you saw something about popcorn lung recently? Was that from a person vaping?
Mm-hmm. Yes, this one was. Yeah, that's what the doctor said.
So I'm wondering if it was that one. It's a Canadian boy. He was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He was 24 years old. And it's a big one that they kind of use to show that it can cause. And when you sit there and kind of do more research on it, you can find it on Google Scholar. You can find a whole bunch of other things on Google Scholar in regards to it. The thing is he wasn't just doing vaping regular tobacco products. He was vaping THC that was found on the black market, which had high counts of it in there.
That's this one.
Yeah.
Is that the one you saw?
This is the one that I'm putting up right now. This is
Okay.
the X-ray
He's
from
17.
the Canadian
He was 17
boy.
years old.
Yeah.
He went in, they thought he was sick. He was, running a fever, having a hard time breathing. And then they did a whole bunch of, antibiotics and
Nothing was working.
nothing was working. Then they had to give him a whole bunch of corticosteroids just to bring down the inflammation. He ended up being intubated. He had a tracheotomy. He ended up having, a trach where they put it here. They put him on an ECMO machine because his lungs just weren't working until they started giving him so many steroids and then kind of brought him down. It took 47 days for him to just even get home. But he still can't tolerate exercise and a whole bunch of other things because when you need that extra amount of air, when you're doing extra physical activity, his lungs are too restricted. They don't expand enough to give him the air that he needs.
He's 17.
He was, yeah. This was a couple years ago. He's not 17 anymore, but yeah.
Man, your life is ruined over just puffing.
Just puffing. But not everybody's. Now, it's
It
hard.
doesn't happen to everybody.
Doesn't happen to everybody. It's still considered rare, but anytime you take anything in, it doesn't matter what it is, you're still at risk of it doing something to you when you're taking a chemical in.
Wow. Holy moly. That popcorn lung, that's the one I was really interested in.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
So many people I know have quit smoking and gone to vaping because they think it's better.
Right.
I know a lot of people that have done that.
But it's not better.
Nope.
You still can harm your lungs.
You still can harm your lungs. You're still putting chemicals in. You still have nicotine in there. You have propylene glycol in there, vegetable glycerin. Those two are just a solvent used, which is a chemical just to make the vapor. And then you have the different flavorings that they add, which are all chemicals. It could be a fruit flavor, menthol flavor, tobacco. They have a Mountain Dew flavor ones.
Cotton candy is one that lots of people I smell that cotton candy one all the time.
Heavy metals come out from that. You're putting chemicals into your lungs.
Right. Isn't it like an oil base too? Isn't there oil as well? So where does the oil go? Once you breathe it in.
You're breathing it in.
Right.
So
just
You're
hangs
breathing
out.
oil in? That's
Yeah.
right.
it's a solvent. An oil is a solvent.
And that's going into your lungs.
Right. And then what?
And it's kind of like sitting in there.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not any better than smoking in a sense, but tobacco.
It has its own set of problems.
It has its own set of problems because smoking itself, probably back in the 1800s when it was just growing tobacco leaves, was probably okay.
That's what I've heard.
But
what
now,
people have
with
said.
as much stuff as they spray to keep the crop going, is causing more chemicals to enter your
Insecticides
body
and everything
Oh,
else.
yeah.
And the fertilizers that there's, I know, because that's what people said. I've heard people say, well, it wasn't bad when it was just the tobacco leaf,
Correct.
but it's not like that anymore, which I never even thought about that. I thought it was always bad. They were like, no, it wasn't.
No.
So it's crazy. I don't know if this one question is on here, but you know what? If we have time, I'll ask it. But I do want to address this. We all, I don't know how long this thing lasts, but we're all about to embark starting Monday.
We're starting this Monday.
Yes. Are you okay? Are you able to start this on Monday?
I can start it on Monday.
Our parasite cleanse. Everybody on the Hope Hotline, or says they are part of the Hope Hotline.
We're doing
They
it.
may not be here all the time,
Yeah.
but everybody who calls
doing
the
it.
Hope Hotline, they're home.
I want to poop snakes.
Yeah. What is that?
I want to poop snakes.
You want? Oh my gosh. Well, you're going to tell us if you do.
I'll
my
have to
gosh.
send in updates.
Yeah, we will be giving updates every single day, starting Tuesday, because we're starting it Monday. How long does it take to start recognizing that there's a difference?
With this one, it depends on how much you have in there. It could take, anything, it takes a little while for your body to actually start feeling the differences of this kind of stuff. So we're going to have to do this for a good month.
So we won't know for a month?
No, you should start seeing something within a week to 2 weeks.
Okay, so if Vanessa eradicates something out of her system that's snake-like, we'll be finding out about it
Are you going to take pictures?
within a week, maybe.
Do you want pictures?
Should you take pictures? Could you take
Why
pictures?
not?
I mean,
I mean, I'm not taking pictures.
I'm not taking pictures.
I can't.
I'm not
I can
taking
barely
pictures.
even look at my own stuff without being nauseous.
Oh my gosh. Awesome.
Next
So
question.
funny.
Next question.
So we will be doing the parasite cleanse. Okay, next question. Natalie, you always come on the Hope Hotline and drop bombs. The last one was nicotine is good for you. What is the newest research you're studying out since you were on the podcast last time?
There's been a plethora of stuff, but one of the things that I've been really diving into over the last couple weeks is methylene blue.
Yeah, that's a big one right there.
Huge one.
Lay it on me.
So methylene blue was actually invented as a textile dye, dyeing your fabrics, your cottons. And then they kind of used it to cure like malaria. They used it for malaria. They used it for UTIs, which they don't use that anymore. And then it's also been used for a condition where your hemoglobin doesn't actually, it gets kind of ruined to a point where it can't carry the oxygen that it needs to carry, right? So they use it for that. Well, now that they found that it's used for a lot of other things, good things, like cognitive, it increases your memory.
What?
It's almost like a euphoric feeling when you take in it. One major thing, though, if you do take it, just be prepared that you will pee blue. It is normal to pee blue. So if you see like a green urine, yellow and blue make green. So green urine or blue urine is normal. And you can't take it if you have a like a DNA, it's called G6PD4 deficiency. Usually you're born with that. And if you're born with that kind of condition, you will know.
How will you know?
Usually you'll have really bad jaundice as a baby, and then they test you for it, so that there's different things that you can't do with G6PD4, PD deficiency, I mean. So you can't take it with that. You can't take it if you are doing medications for anxiety or depression, like Paxil, Prozac, and then your really heavy-duty depression medications, which I hardly ever know anyone that called MAOI inhibitors. I've never prescribed them in my career, and I've never met anybody to be on them, but they're like for really like psychiatric issues and major depression. You can't take it with that either, because it can increase a thing called your serotonin. Everyone has serotonin in our brains.
Yep.
And if you can end up having a problem that could be life-threatening. It's called serotonin syndrome, where you have too much serotonin and you can't take it out of your system enough. So then it starts to build up and it causes like muscle rigidity, like severe fatigue and a whole bunch of other things. So you got to be careful. If you don't take any of those medicines, you don't have an issue with serotonin uptake, you can take it on a daily basis to kind of help you with boosting your cognitive function, memory function, mitochondrial, which is a little itty bitty thing that's in each cell. It actually helps detoxify your mitochondria to help. It's one of those aging things to help your cell turnover better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big thing now. And I think it was because RFK did it on an airplane after something. I think after congressional hearings, they caught him putting it in his drink.
Really?
Yeah,
so
liquid
that's
form.
how you take it?
Well, it's a liquid form, or you can get a pill form. And obviously, make sure if you're going to get it, it's got to be third-party tested. You got to know where you're getting it from.
Like pharmaceutical.
Correct.
Like get a prescription.
You don't need a prescription.
Well, like just go on a really good,
Supplement.
like where I got this from, you would go to a good website.
A good
like
website.
this.
And then I have compounding pharmacies that actually make it. You can either get the pill form or the oral form. If you do the oral form, be prepared, your teeth will turn blue.
Oh.
Now, I mean, for the time being that you're on it. I mean, they say to
So why
drink like
is-
orange juice with it, and it kind of counteracts the blue color.
So why would he take it in a liquid form? Because his teeth are going to turn blue.
Well, I mean, if you counteract it with vitamin C kind of makes it not be
Oh.
blue anymore. It doesn't keep them blue. It's just like for the time being, don't smile.
Yeah, I don't want that. That's interesting. So cognitively,
Oh yeah, like really, really good for your memory, and it like boosts, like gives you energy. If you're gonna take it in the morning.
I'm
Don't take
thinking
it
about this.
Don't take it at bedtime, because it literally, like if you have ADHD, it helps you like refocus. A lot of people who've been taking it have come off their ADHD medication.
they're over there like, this might be a miracle drug.
Another
You should
miracle.
see Tracy and Vanessa over there looking at each other like,
We're like, What?
That's
Memory?
interesting. Because I can't remember squat. But
I
don't
can't
think-
either anymore.
But I don't think it's because of I have any problem. I think it's just because I've never been able to remember anything.
it's worth a try.
Well, within reason, I can't remember things. But sometimes
I
it's
think
just because
we
there's
have
too
our
much going
phone,
on
we-
up here.
Yeah, and we have our phone. We have access to Google. We have access to ChatGPT.
what do we need to
so
remember?
we don't exercise our brain as much as we
No,
used
I remember back
That's
in the
so
day,
true.
I used to be able to, like, if you asked
Phone
me
numbers.
phone numbers, addresses,
Oh, yeah.
everything, I knew them. And now because
to. I know.
We don't have to activate that.
I only know my mom's, my husband's, and mine, I don't even know my kids' phone number.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I know that many.
That's sad.
Me and Tommy were at the
It's-
beach. Sorry.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
He was like, I think I'm going to throw my phone away because we didn't have service. So it was like really nice. We weren't on our phones at all. He's like, I think I'm just going to get like a mobile phone and an iPad to post all this stuff on social media. I have to. And he's like, but he's like, I'm done with my phone because he's like, I can never remember anything. He's like,
He just needs this peptide. What is
But
it?
he always longs
Hotline.
for Tommy longs for the simple life. Like he likes not. He's just a simple person. He could go out and live on the side of a mountain and make
Sounds
it.
like his dad.
Good for him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most people don't. Like they live for these devices.
Right.
Like
Listen, it's a dopamine. Every time you touch it, it releases dopamine. So people get addicted to that dopamine.
that's
True.
crazy.
True.
Just by touching it.
Yeah. I mean, any kind of screen, right? Have you seen the kids about Coco Melon?
Yeah, I think you sent that to me. That's frightening. Have you showed that, didn't you, Tracy?
We talked
that
about
Coco
it.
Melon
Yeah,
video.
Natalie
I
brought
could
it up
swear
last
that-
time. We talked about this last time.
Dude, put that on though if you can find it.
I don't
Or
know- I
If you
don't-
can't, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
I don't know what it was, but we talked about it last
We
time.
talked about it last time.
Yeah.
I mean, Coco Melon.
I've
It's
never
the way
seen
that they do their programming so that it changes like every so many seconds, so that kids are literally like becoming addicted to it. Or people call them iPad babies too. I mean, a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
are. That's all they give is their screen, and kids become
For
addicted
dinner,
to it.
I mean, they go to go to a restaurant and they give the kid an iPad. I mean, I would have to sit there and be quiet when we went to dinner.
so did I. Or that, or you were stuck at the kid table, and then
Yeah.
you,
We
Oh,
didn't go out
well,
to dinner.
Even if I was at
We
the
didn't
kid
either.
table, we were to be quiet. Like you could talk, but you had to there.
you had to whisper.
You had to be like not you seen and not heard.
Correct. Seen and not heard. That's the way it was back
Yeah.
in the 70s.
And there
80s.
ain't nothing wrong with that because kids were way better then than they are now. It's just, but man, oh man, for a child to like, I remember, I think Tracy showed that to me. You must have sent that to her or something. I don't know. How did I see that?
Probably Natalie.
Maybe you sent
yeah,
it to
I think
me.
it was Natalie.
I could not believe the reaction of that child. I mean, if I was a parent and those parents were not bothered by it
Oh,
at
no,
all,
not at all. Just give him more. That's all they did. Give it to him to shut him
I
up.
would have been devastated if my kid was like doing that.
So methylene blue is one of the ones that I've been diving into, but there are so many. Like I told Vanessa when I came, the peptide world and the peptide therapies that are out there just to help with longevity and aging, slow it down a little bit. It's insanity.
I know that back in biblical times when they were living to 900 years of age, I know they didn't look like we look like at 70 and 80. Okay, and there's reasons for it. It's because what they were eating and how they were living, the stress level on people will age you alone. And I just think that, again, it goes back to living a simple life and eating properly. And they actually exercised every day.
Well, they had to work. They had to work the field to eat.
And they were in the sun, and that didn't age them.
Nope.
And they didn't have cancer, skin cancer from the sun. Do you know what I'm saying? I believe skin cancer is huge by like the sunscreen that we're putting on our face. I am not like I can't say that enough.
Also, the sunglasses. A lot of times they're saying
Yeah.
sunglasses. When you're out we talked about this too before. When you're out in the sun and you have just your eyes adjusting to the strength of the sun, your body's able to turn around and react. So it knows to like increase melanin production to kind of protect you from getting a serious sunburn. Whereas we all go out and put our sunglasses on, so our body is unable to justify and figure out how much sun is actually out there.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I don't wear sunglasses, but I mean, I have, but
Mine automatically
yeah.
like
don't.
darken,
Especially in Florida, like you cannot see.
and your eyes water, and you're like, ugh.
It's terrible. It's not like when I lived in Virginia. You could literally function without.
I could look directly into the sun
In the morning time, right? Not during like.
all the time.
You can right now
Yeah.
because you don't wear sunglasses.
But I think it's because I have dark brown eyes.
I can't look into
I
anything.
can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
But
you
I
guys
blue
But we
eyes.
all have blue eyes.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh. Like I feel like
I mean,
I'm
like
gonna die.
I feel like I'm gonna
No,
die,
I
and
can
my
see
eyes
literally,
water.
Same.
You can't open your eyeballs.
Doesn't matter. I'm
That's
Gucci.
amazing.
Yeah.
You need to look into that.
I'll look into that for next time.
As JoJo says, my eyes are the color of diarrhea. So he was like 8 years old. He's like, Mom, you know what? Your eyes are the color of diarrhea. I'm like, thanks, babe.
Oh my gosh. Well, what color is his eyes?
They're like a hazel.
Oh,
I know it.
well, you can't
So
go back on
observant.
him then.
I know.
There's no rebuttal to that.
No,
No,
there's
there
not.
isn't. So
Because hazel eyes are beautiful.
Yes.
Out of the mouth of babes.
I know.
I know. And he was so innocent about it.
Right.
Like,
he
he
didn't mean
didn't
it. He wasn't trying to be
know.
mean. He was being observant.
He was just speaking truth.
Right.
Yep. But I think that's why I can, like, the sun or like light, I'm not sensitive to it at all.
See, I am.
I'm very, yeah. And your eyes are blue too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very sensitive. I always have sunglasses on.
Yeah. Tom's
All the
are
time.
green. He never lives without sunglasses. Ever.
Yeah, my husband doesn't either, and his are more like a hazel, a brownish green.
Interesting. Interesting. Let's go to the next question. It says, what is one thing that is a trend right now that you think might cause more harm than good?
This one stumped me. I honestly can't think of. Well, let me put it this way: there's tons of things out there that everyone thinks is good, i.e., iPads, telephones. I think those are going to turn around and bite us, but the way technology is just moving so fast, people aren't really going to see that. As in healthcare and these new trends with health, to be honest, I haven't really dove into that, so I can't really answer that question. Not honestly, anyway.
Is there anything in the medical profession? See, for me, like Ozempic, I think it has a lot of great things, but the thing is like there's been some stuff that's come out like bone density and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Now,
the
can you
GLP, you're
counter
talking
that?
about the GLP
Yeah, because
ones.
I know you're not big on Ozempic specifically. You think that there's other ones that are better than that.
Yeah, Ozempic's bottom of the line. I mean, it's like the basic. I think tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro, is better. And if you do it, so here's the problem. I think a lot of doctors just write a script and send you on your way, and then they
This
don't.
is why I asked the question, because there's always, just like popcorn lung, there's always it's twofold.
Correct.
It's not always what people think. So I'm so
So
glad.
GLP ones are not only good just for diabetes and losing weight, and you have to remember Ozempic has been out, or semaglutide has been out for almost 20 years, almost 2 decades, and now all of a sudden they're saying, oh, it causes gastroparesis, which is horrible, like vomiting. You can't control. It's uncontrolled vomiting. It can cause the bone density. Well, a lot of doctors just prescribe and then don't say, listen, because it's going to drop how much you're taking in nutrient wise, where you're going to have to substitute and say, I got to change my habits. I got to eat more protein.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I'm keeping up with my calcium, vitamin D, K, all these different minerals that you kind of like totally shock the body and you take away when you're on the medication, like hair loss, the bone density, losing their eyesight. Well, you think about it, you're taking the medicine, it's giving you a caloric deficit, not just on your calorie intake, but also your nutrition intake. And if you're not compensating and putting that back in, it's going to cause
happen.
that. It's going to happen. So you can't just say, okay, here's the prescription, go on your way. And most doctors do that today. They just say, okay, here's the protocol. I'm going to give you this and go on your way. I personally prescribe tirzepatide. I'm not a big component on semaglutide, so I don't even touch on that one. But I also tell my patients, listen, you have to do a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day. 100, 120. You need to make sure you're drinking. You need to make sure you're drinking fluids so you don't get the constipation that comes along with it. As we get older, we all have a decrease in gastric enzymes and stuff that breaks down the food. And with it sitting in your stomach longer, because that's what it does, it kind of like slows down your gastric outlet. You need to take digestive enzymes. You need to be doing probiotics. You need to be adding back in the nutrients that you're not taking in when you eat.
I see those different things, and I'm like, it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure it's not that it wasn't the Ozempic, and I know that you're not a big fan of it because I understand why. But I'm just saying, even then, I'm not. It's not necessarily the Ozempic. It was, not side effects, but it's the things that caused you not to be able to have these situations. It's not the Ozempic. It was things that you didn't do that you should have done in order to not have those things happen.
Correct.
And I'm like, I don't think it just makes no sense to me that blindness is a side effect. It's not a side effect. If you would have ate properly, you probably would not have had that side effect.
It's blindness, difficulty seeing, starting to like lose your vision. Well, what is the major one vitamin that's decreased in that? Vitamin A. Now, it doesn't mean you go out and get a bottle and just start like sucking down on vitamin A. I mean, that's kind of like with the measles thing. People are just taking tons of vitamin A and overdosing on them. So people that are trying, that aren't immunized, they're doing that. You can't just do that. You have to make sure that you're taking it in the proper way and you're replenishing the nutrients that you took out when you're taking the medication, because you're not hungry.
Right.
You're not hungry. So what do you got to focus on? You got to focus on your diet. You got to focus on making sure you're eating whole foods, foods that actually matter, not like all these empty calories. Most people go on it and still do the same thing they want. They go to McDonald's, they go to Wendy's, they go to, I'm just going to sit here and eat my chicken wings, or I'm going to eat this fat food, or you can't do that.
No. And they don't do supplements. But the other thing too is a lot of it depends on too how long you stay on it. If it's not something that you're going to stay on a long period of time, I don't think that that's a real big concern, even though I think you should do all of those things. But a lot of people go on it and they stay on these.
Well, and here's my thing. Ozempic, again, has been around for almost 2 decades. And until they started using it for weight loss, you really didn't hear a bunch of this stuff.
No, never.
Right?
I didn't even know it was around for 20 years.
So people are like, well, if you're taking it for weight loss, this is what side effects you're going to have. Well, then all the people that were taking it for diabetes would have been having the same side effects.
Truth.
So what is it that's different? People just can call a number, get put on a medication, and they're never followed up. Right? They're not being coached on how to actually change what habits they were doing to gain the weight, and the medicine is there to kind of help you along the way. You got to add the supplementation back in. And on top of it, most of us are nutrient deficient because our food is nutrient deficient.
Which is a part of the whole thing anyway.
Correct.
It's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. And again, you didn't hear about all the side effects until people started using it for weight loss. And actually somebody said that, and I laughed at her. I said, oh, because you're doing it for weight loss, you're going to get the side effects? It's been around for forever and a day. So, well, not forever and a day, but 20 years is...
That's significant.
That's a significant amount of time. So now all of a sudden it's bad to take because you're doing it for weight loss and you're not doing it for diabetes. And because you're doing it for weight loss, now you're going to have all these different side effects. And most doctors, what they do is they're like, okay, you start off on this, 4 weeks later, we're putting you to the next one, 4 weeks later, we're putting you to the next dose, 4 weeks later, and they max you out. You don't necessarily have to be maxed out on the medicine. If it's doing the job of keeping your blood sugars down, if it's doing the job and getting your weight down, then stay on the lowest dose possible.
But is that because they want to have people aggressively drop weight?
No, it's because the more they have to take, the more money they have to dish out. I'm one that's like, oh, listen, if you're losing a pound a week, I'm not going to increase your medicine. If you come to a stall, then let's increase your medicine to the next dose, or maybe go up just a couple of milligrams instead of, because you double it every 4 weeks.
Okay.
And instead of doubling it, let's just go up by like half. And if you start to lose weight again, we'll stay at that dose. But most places that prescribe it,
It's all about money.
because if you're using this much and they can get you to use this much and you're paying for this much, well, how much more money are they going to get if you have to use this much?
I never
more money.
even, that never dawned on me. But it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to me. I'm like, all of a sudden, like, but I didn't know it had been around for 20 years. But I'm like, how is it possible that bone density and blindness? And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me at all.
And again, I think it's the people that are maxing out on it just to get the highest and quick, because everybody wants an instant result.
Right.
And we live in an instant society. Instead of just saying, okay, let's just work this out and do it the way you're supposed to do it. And then if you're losing the weight, okay, then let's stay on the lower dose. If it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, there's no reason to add more medicine. None. And some providers don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
Let's get you to the max dose, and there you go. You're at the max dose. And then it's
And
going to
you've-
cause more problems.
Well, and plus, I think the faster you lose weight, the less apt you are to learn how to eat properly while you're
Correct.
doing it. Like,
What did you change? What was it that you changed while you were on the medicine?
you probably didn't change anything.
No, I tell my patients they need to change it. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, when you come off of the medicine,
You're going to gain it all back.
you're going to gain it back and then some. And then you're going to be back in the same boat again. Or you're just going to have to be on it the rest of your life if you want to continue in that lifestyle. With anything, if you're not willing to change, like say I get a patient, I do blood work, and I'm like, oh boy, the cholesterol's up, their A1C's up, which is telling me that their blood sugar is kind of on the higher side. I know they're overweight. Listen, you're like diabetic. You're pushing to become a diabetic, and you're going to be on all these meds. Here's how we can change it. You got to change it by diet. You got to change it by lifestyle. And if a lot of people are like, okay, I'll do that, but then they don't do it,
Yeah.
or they decide to cheat, they don't realize you're going to get to the point where your stomach, your pancreas is going to be like, I'm not going to produce any more insulin for you. I'm just not going to do it. So you have to be willing to change the lifestyle that you have. Is it okay to go out and have a greasy cheeseburger every now and then? Yeah, but that can't be your only type of food.
Right.
Is some people they can do that. They have the metabolism. It doesn't do that. It doesn't change them. There's a lot of people that's a totally different. It's totally different. They can't have that. And if you look at people from the 70s compared to today, you have people, I think it's like 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 is considered pre-diabetic now, or diabetic, type 2 diabetes.
Whoa.
That's in America.
That's insane.
And it's all because of lifestyle, fast food. And some people can handle it. Some people's metabolisms can do it. And again, like I've said, this is what my 4th time on. What one person can do doesn't mean the next person can do it without having any repercussions from it.
Yeah. That's staggering, though, that it's that many.
It's that many now.
And that's all from diet.
What was that? What was that Disney show with Evie and Wally? Wally, right? Yeah, Wally. So the people that left Earth,
Yeah.
right? And then he gets up and he gets to see all these people up there. And how fat are they? Because everything was being done for them. They didn't exercise. They had all their fast food, and they couldn't even walk. You got to change your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's tough for people. And I mean, speaking from somebody who had to change their lifestyle, I mean, like the girls over there, like all 3 of them, they've always been active. They've always exercised. And it wasn't until recently they started saying, okay, we're going to have to like watch what we eat and things like that. That happened to me late in my 40s, but they all were athletic or had like, even though Vanessa had been overweight, she at least was athletic. I mean, she had done things and exercised way younger than me.
Zumba instructor.
So she had muscle underneath there. So like when she started losing weight and eating right, it was nothing. Like it's not even a mental problem for either one of them, or Talia's not even. But for me, like I know what people are having to go through because it is harder. Like,
And as you get to a certain age, your metabolism slows down because you're not getting as much estrogen that you used to have. You're not getting as much testosterone that you used to have, or progesterone. I mean, all your hormones all play a part in how you metabolize and how your body works and takes the food that you take in and uses it for the energy. And it's harder when you get older. You hit that perimenopausal area, and it just makes it a little bit harder.
yeah. Yeah, but some people would say I can't do it. And I get that because I've been there. Like, I never worked out. I'm in a room where everybody worked out. When we all went to the gym, they looked great. Even though we all were carrying extra weight, they all looked great because even though they had muscle mass. So people will say I can't because I was 50. How old was I? Was I 56? How long have I been doing it? For 2 years now? So I'll be 57. I was 55. Like, that's not somebody who's in their 30s.
No.
Like, they all did it late 20s, 30s, right? I didn't even do it then. So people that have excuses or believe they have an excuse, you don't have an excuse because
You gotta change.
you have to change.
You have to.
And it isn't fun necessarily, but once you do it, you kind of get addicted to it.
But that's our society. At least in America, it's a huge problem because we have made a culture. And I said this at the, I'm back working in the PRN, right?
Yeah.
And I said this to one of the nurses. I was like, you came to the hospital because your kid had one day of 102 fever, no other symptoms. You run to we've created a culture where it's okay to just run and take a pill to fix everything instead of doing what it's been done for thousands and thousands of years in humanity. We've created that culture. We've created, it's okay to take a pill to change that. It's okay to take a pill to help you with your depression. It's okay. And don't get anything on the backside to help you change the circumstances that you're in to.
You know why I think part of that is? Because we're a very fear-based society.
Well, they've made it that way.
Right. And part of the reason we're a fear-based society is because of this thing right here, because we get news so quickly, and news is never usually good. When we're watching things, usually the only things people want to pay attention to are the things that are sensational. And usually if it's sensational, it's fear-based or it's sexual in nature, and it's like things that you sit there and go, holy moly, like what people in society do this or have done that. You know what I'm saying? So even that, it's not good. So all of us being able to get news so quickly has made us in so many ways be fearful, but also, like you said, want to be able to have a solution very quickly. And that's not life. It shouldn't be life. Because I'm the oldest one in this room. And I remember back in the day, basically you hurt yourself or you ran a fever or whatever, you slap mud on it and call it a day, go to school.
Oh, my mom used to be that all the time. I remember I got so sick one time, I threw up for a week straight. And after a week and then starting losing weight, that's when my mom finally took me in. Finally. And you didn't go to the hospital.
No.
You went to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, put her on, here's a little bit of phenegrin to kind of help her get over with whatever she's going through, and put me on Jello water. Remember Jello water? Yeah, just take some gelatin with some water, and that's what I lived on for a couple of days until my stomach settled down.
Oh, yeah. And you had to, God forbid you got sick on a Friday. You're waiting all weekend long.
You did not. I mean, I broke my arm. And back in the day, you just went to the ER and they would stick a cast on you. You didn't get splinted and then said, okay, follow up with the orthopedic, right?
No.
You didn't have all these specialties.
Never.
So they just slapped it on me. And I ended up with gangrene. After a couple of weeks of my cast just stinking really, really bad, right? It just smelled so bad. No one would come near me. My dad finally, and he kept calling. They were like, oh no, she's fine. She's fine.
It's just sweat.
It was summertime. And if you ever broke your arm, you would stick stuff down to
Rulers.
itch, right?
We used to do rulers all the time.
Well, no, I had gangrene. I could have lost my whole arm, but it took out of the 8 weeks that you would keep a cast on, I think I was in it for 4 weeks, maybe 4 or 5.
Before they even did anything.
Before they did anything.
Yeah, it's just a whole different world. Some ways good, but most ways it's bad.
Yeah, we've just created a culture that take a pill, it'll fix you. Take a pill, it'll fix you. And it took you so many years to get where you're at. The majority of the people that are like having issues with weight and stuff like that, or like with a lipoma, it takes years for it to kind of grow. Or if you like have adhesions, it takes years. So if you're doing your castor oil pack, don't expect a instant solution. You have to be consistent, even with supplements. You can't just, okay, I'm going to start taking this and I want to be fixed by next week. No, it's something that you have to be consistent with doing, because you won't see the outcome that you're wanting from that.
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing. Consistency has gone right out the window. We don't do it's a pet peeve for me in general. Okay. But consistency is the key to everything, from supplements. Like that's for me. Like I've been told, take creatine. It'll help increase your weight. Well, I'll take it for the days that I'm working out, and then I won't take it on the others. Like that does no good. That's consistency though. And then I get bothered because you don't increase your weight. Whose fault is that? Yours, but that's anything. People aren't even consistent in their families.
No, nothing at all.
So for me, it's like, if you can't even be consistent in those things, let alone, I mean, just your job, for crying out loud. It's gonna be very difficult for people to be consistent in eating and maintaining. I think it's very hard for people. But I will say, and people told me this, if you just start doing it and you apply yourself, it will get easier.
Yep.
And it has, and it does.
And same with diet and exercise. I mean, and you know that.
Yeah.
If you change it, and if you need something to kind of help you jumpstart where you need to be, that's fine and dandy, do it. But make sure you're changing the habits behind it, because if you don't, as soon as you come off, all that's coming back. As soon as you stop, all that's coming back. As soon as you stop working out,
Oh, yeah.
everything that you accomplished over these last 2 years will be gone faster.
Oh, my gosh. You take 1 week off. Like when we had to go to Vegas and we all were working out. I basically took the week off. When you go back the next week, it is hard. If you feel like you never worked out before a day in your life, Tracy's shaking her head yes, because it's so true.
It's same with your prayer life too, though. It's same with your Bible. It's the reading your Bible, all of it. It's the same. If you're not consistent, you're going to go backwards. I mean, Tom even says that. If you don't continue, you're going to go backwards.
If people just if they focus more on just what it takes to have a good, healthy life, from the natural to the spiritual to the physical, and the physical, you do the physical, the mental, I think, will go right along with it.
Correct.
I've literally never felt better, and on so many ways have done better. But eating, everybody will say to you, well, if you eat right, you'll feel great. Well, I ate right and I never felt great. Then they say, if you work out, you'll feel great. Well, I would work out and I wouldn't be eating right, and I didn't feel anything. But you put the two together, and then you're like, okay, the combo makes all the difference in the world. It really does. So, next question. If I can't choose you to be my doctor, how would I be able to tell if a doctor is good or bad? I think this is such an important question right here.
Your doctor needs to respect your decisions, and he should be giving you what's called informed consent on every single thing that he decides to do with you. And he should be your partner in helping you achieve whatever you need, instead of just saying, here's a prescription, go on your way. A doctor should be able to take his time with you and get to know you, instead of just getting to know what's on a piece of paper. There's a difference between just looking at numbers and words on a paper than knowing you.
Agreed. And here's the thing, I say this and you probably agree with me, but when you're finding a doctor, when they, the doctors that I've gone to, a lot of times they want to sit and meet with me and talk to me. And it's an interview process. And I've literally thought to myself, dude, you're interviewing me, but I'm interviewing you.
Correct. You need to.
It's not the way, this is not going to be a one-sided situation. Because if I'm going to trust you helping me make decisions, then I'm going to interview you and make sure that you're wise enough to make those decisions. And some of them have been good, but then there's others that you're just sitting there going, yeah, no, this is not a fit.
You got to make sure that it's kind of like a lot of people that I've like sent to counseling. Maybe that first person that you went to talk with, you don't connect. If you don't connect, go the opposite way. If they're pushing something that you don't feel comfortable, you know, you need to like make sure you feel comfortable with it and you got the information that you need to make an informed decision. If they're pushing something that you don't feel is right, go find another doctor. They're out there. You just have to, a lot of them, when you do find them, they're either hard to get in or there's a long wait line to get in. But once you get them, keep them. Yeah,
because they're worth the wait. I will say that with that being the question, so the C word that we won't say because then we'll get banned on everything. But you know what I mean by the C word? Mm-hmm. Okay, so when doctors were trying to force people to take
the cupcake.
Yeah, the cupcake. And they basically said, you won't be my patient if you don't take the cupcake. Okay,
bye-bye.
So that's what you should have said. But some people said, no, I'll take it. Now, you sent me some information, whereas Europe is now, doctors are being held accountable for giving the cupcake and there being injuries from it.
Correct.
So what happens to the doctors that made in America, you think, or even over there, because I'm sure it happened over there? What happens to the doctors that said, if you don't do this, then you're not going to stay a patient? So because they've felt so vulnerable and they were intimidated by not having them as a physician, not to have them as a physician, what do you think is going to happen if that transfers over here? What's happening over in Europe comes over to the States? Doctors that said basically, if you don't do this, then I'm dropping you. What do you think potentially can happen to them? Like lose everything? Because I know people that were like, they won't see me anymore if I don't do this.
Do I think they will? I don't know if I think they will, but do I think they should? I think they should. I mean,
because you had to make some decisions, and you lost a lot of things because of the decisions you made.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you sat there and pushed something and someone got injured for it, and you sat there and said, I don't know. I think morality wise, I don't know how you could look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a physician, I'm here to take care of you, or I'm a provider and I'm here to take care of you. And then after doing that to somebody, that's wrong. That's just like what pediatricians are doing to parents that are refusing to do vaccinations. I mean, if a doctor can come in, if you could go to your pediatrician and say, can you tell me what is in that vaccine? And they could sit there and tell you and ask you and if you could sit there and say, so what are the side effects for my kid to take all this? And they can't answer that, then you need to go find someone who can. They're out there. It's just a matter of finding them. You should be able to have, and they should be able to stand behind you with whatever decision you make, whatever beliefs you have.
Yeah.
They took an oath to take care of you, no matter what whatever your beliefs are, they take care of you. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't take blood. So they don't sit there and tell Jehovah's Witness, well, I'm not going to be your doctor.
Yeah.
But if you don't take certain things, whether it's your pediatrician or another doctor, if you're not taking certain things or you're not following their protocol and you don't stand for it, I mean, they need to be able to respect your beliefs and how you feel as well and still be able to give you the best treatment possible.
Agreed. Now, Vanessa sent me this. We're going to get to Tracy. I'm going to have you ask this last question, but Vanessa sent me this, and I think this is what Vanessa sent me. I think is so important, and I think you were going back and forth with both of us about it. But a lot of people don't realize that human blood is in Botox, and I didn't even know that until Vanessa sent me something.
A byproduct of blood. Yeah, it's human albumin, which is blood, right? It's a type of product that you can get out of blood.
So if you're a big person on not, if you were against the vaccinations, but you're getting Botox, you don't know where that blood's coming from. So what?
And they're not going to tell you.
Well, they probably can't.
No.
They're not going to do the test to go deep dive into that. So to bring comfort or to maybe wake people up, what Vanessa sent is somebody who has always done Botox for years now, right?
Yeah, they started in their 20s.
And that woman looked like she was in her 30s, right?
Yeah, she was like
Yeah.
50-something years old. You
Oh,
sent
yeah,
it
that's
to
right.
me.
She was 55.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. She's 55. Okay. She's not been taking it for the last 5 years.
Right.
She's refused to do it because there's blood in Botox, and she
with
did not.
with the mRNA technology that's come out. How do you know if that's not in your Botox?
Right. So for people who don't know that it's in there, you might want to know that. But you had been saying something along the lines of, okay, it's a small amount that's in there, correct? But that small amount potentially can still do damage.
I mean, you're talking mRNA is on a microscopic level. So how much damage is it going to do? I mean, that's hard to say, but it's in there. So could it? Yeah, it could. So are you willing to take that risk? I mean, that's some. I mean, personally, if I didn't know anything, and I wasn't like a Christian or whatever, and believe in the hand of God, whatever. But if I was a normal person, and I had been taking Botox, and I was big and adamant on no vaxing, I might be freaking out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be like freaking out. Do you think they need to be freaking out? Depending
well,
on how much.
if you're under the blood, then no, you don't need to be.
No, but if
figuring
you're
out.
just a normal person,
Yeah.
if you're a normal person, does it depend on how often you took?
Yeah, well, the more you're exposed to it, the higher amounts you're going to have in your system.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a lot of women, they depending on what your look is, you get a lot of units on your face.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you can pull up exactly where they do like all your injections, depending on where you need them. I mean, you can eat up here around the eye, around
Here.
the nasal fold, the mouth, forehead. I mean, there's a lot of places that they put Botox. And again, they use Botox for other things too.
Like, what do they use Botox for?
Migraines. We talked about this. Migraines.
Oh, I forgot
like
about that.
excessive sweating.
I forgot about the migraines. Totally forgot about that.
TMJ, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Holy
But a lot of people
moly.
didn't even know that.
Oh, look, there's Johnny on the spot right there.
Yep.
It's a little
Put that
blurry
up.
for some reason, but those just so you can see the dots.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of
People put
units.
them on the lip, even.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
here, especially if you smoked, you definitely need, because you get those fine lines from puckering all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of spots.
And depending on where you want it to go, then, I mean, what part of your face you want to look better. I mean, do they do it all at one time? Maybe not. But yeah, that's a lot.
That's wild.
And
I mean-
it's temporary, so you have to go every like 6 months.
Yeah, because it
That's-
doesn't last.
Okay, Vanessa, that was my point too,
Yeah.
because like, how often do you get it? But I didn't even know, like, I'm only thinking like forehead, and like, never did I know it was that many places, let alone the frequency is what I was talking about. Not necessarily, I didn't know all of those places. And then you add in the other. Yeah, somebody might be freaking out. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot if you go every 6 months. Some people go more than that, correct?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
I don't
I
know.
think that's average.
Average.
Average is 6 months? Wow. Okay.
Not that I
So there's
looked into
nothing.
it or
There's no
anything.
reprieve for anybody, huh?
Not that I looked into it or anything.
Well, listen, we all know people who get it.
I know.
Like,
Yeah. I'm a Botox version, though, just for the record.
oh, I've never done it, but I
neither.
have thought about it. I
I've never
have.
done
I'd be
it.
lying. I'd be lying if I said I've never
done
thought
it.
about
My
it.
sister's done it.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What's the difference between like shedding? So like if somebody just got a vaccine and they were shedded on versus like this, for instance, is one like worse than the other? Because I remember one time Pastor Rodney actually said that he had been around people that had just been vaccinated and his doctor said that he had been like shedded on by a
Oh, yeah.
vaccine.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
is there like a difference between like taking the chance of being around people that are vaccinated
No.
and getting like Botox?
No.
Okay.
No, you have a higher dose with the vaccine than you do with the Botox and the amount of mRNA that could be in there.
But like just being shedded on, like you could get more versus like if you were shedded on, would I have as much mRNA as I could if I got Botox? Like,
Good question.
do you understand? Like
I do understand what you're trying to say.
okay, can you say it
That's a
differently?
That
good
would-
question.
That's just, I don't know. I
That's
can't
like
even answer
virus
that.
related, though, right? That's not where it gets in your bloodstream. Like Botox is in your bloodstream. When people shed, it's not in your bloodstream, correct? I thought you could just get the virus
I don't
that
know,
they
yeah.
were, the shot they were provided, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's what I thought
Right.
that shedding was. But you know what? Can it get into your bloodstream? That's a good question for people who would freak out over that.
Right.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But whereas Botox does get in your bloodstream, and
Correct.
that's where it.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay.
Okay, now, Tracy.
Okay.
What's your the last number 7 question? You're going to be able to explain this better.
Am I? Okay, I'll try. Okay, so Natalie, I have heard that there are a lot of false positives, and that the reason because of it. So I'll read the question. I've heard stories of people going in and getting tested to later find out it was a false positive. Is there a way to avoid the stress of a false positive? And so what I heard, one of my friends worked in the medical field, and she said there's no consistent way to transport the blood. It goes into a cold van and then comes out of a cold van, and then it's not being kept cold anymore, and then it goes into the hospital setting. And so that could be a reason why people are...
I mean, you could have it could be the way that it's collected. It could be what's in the tube. It could be the sensitivity of the test.
Right.
I mean, to actually not have a false positive, to like, is there a way not to? Just don't get tested, unfortunately. I mean, a lot of people end up with a false positive,
Yeah.
and unless you stop and sit there and go, hey, wait, let's retest again before you treat, that would be the only way to really determine if it is a false positive or not.
Okay. Okay.
Because they do that with false positives with children that have been considered special needs, things like that. Have you heard that? Because a lot of them get, except for the amniotic fluid one, that when they do that, that's more accurate. But a lot of times people will have these tests taken
With the blood.
for over 35, I think it is. And the majority of them, there's a large majority of them are false positives.
That's again where I would sit there and say, I want to be retested. And whether you
100%.
say, I want to be retested and use a different facility, use a different mode of transportation, use a different mode of reagent that they use to do the testing, that's where I would say, hey, I want to be retested. I know when I was pregnant with my second child, they did a whole big, huge panel on me, and they said I tested positive for an STD. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, even my husband was like, what? And I'm like, there's no way. You need to retest me. I said, you're retesting me. You are retesting me right now. And when they retested me, the second one was normal. So, it can happen with anything.
Yeah.
So I would say, ask to be retested.
Yeah. That's interesting. It happens a lot, even with heart.
does.
Oh, it happens with, it could
People
be
don't
anything.
realize that.
It could happen with anything. You need to be retested. And again, that goes back to the question about if you have a doctor that you want to know is good. If you sat there and said, hey, I want a second opinion, or I would like another, look at it. If they're okay with, and they say, okay, yeah, that's fine. Keep that doctor. Because if they sat there and say, no, this is what the protocol says, this is what we're following, blah, 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 then I would sit there and say, adios to that doctor.
Well, I mean, I think I would get retested on a lot of things, unless, especially because people go in and have major heart surgery done based on a test that was actually not accurate. And there are surgeons that say they're not accurate.
Yeah. And it can happen with anything. It can happen like when they do like a cancer test, or, I mean, there's false positives come back all the time. Even when they were doing COVID, false positive.
All the 80% were wrong.
If
That's
you,
what they said.
like if you're eating Cheetos and you go to do a strep test, you got to make sure that there's none in there because it can pull up a false positive. I mean, there's certain things that can just end up making a false positive. So always ask for a retest.
Oh, that's exactly what I would do. I would never. Which I don't think a lot of people know that. That was a good question. I don't know who sent that in. Was that your question, Tracy, or did somebody send that in?
You said it was a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That was yours?
Only if it was a good question.
Oh. So you
We
just
didn't
took.
ask this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. Well, we're going to ask one more because there's one more question that people had, and I wanted to ask two of mine because I
Okay.
thought they were better. But no, I already asked them, so I was going to skip that one. But
Oh.
and I don't want to use that word, but we will. It says, "What do you think we'll experience another worldwide pandemic in our lifetime?"
Yes.
I do too.
Will
That's
it be-
probably going to
will it
scare the
be a-
crap out of people, but
Will it be a plandemic or will it be a
Oh,
pandemic?
For sure.
they're already planning. The problem is
Okay, first
anybody who's, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
I
but
am.
Listen.
anybody that's been watching anything, they've already been saying. Anybody that, like the political realm, the World Economic Forum, all of them, they're all saying we're going to have another one. So
And
for me, it's like,
it's a
thank you for
no-brainer.
telling us.
Yeah, just know it's coming. What exactly it is? I mean, they've
The
already
likely-
tried. They've already tried with the
The bird flu.
bird flu. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, they've already tried with that.
The odds that it will be very deadly are probably not that high.
The problem is you have a government, not just ours. You have governments across the entire world that has been playing around in biological warfare. So
Oh,
once
that's
there's
true.
already biological warfare and
Yeah.
they're doing tons of
Testing.
testing and
Something could get released that none of them want released. Because that's
Correct.
happened before.
correct.
I mean, people might not know history, but if you study history out, there have been accidents. They were not good, and lots of people died.
Correct. So yeah, I believe there's another one. When? Don't know. It all depends.
But on that note, we'll end on a downer.
Oh no, let's end on a good note.
I don't have any more questions. Does anybody have any questions?
There
on
was,
that?
yeah, there was one
one.
question. Natalie has, if you have any time, she said, is bloating a symptom of menopause? If so, why?
Is bloating?
Bloating.
It can be, yeah, part of
Okay.
inflammatory in your body, just not being able to detoxify out the inflammation that's going on in your body. So yeah, bloating.
What can they do for that?
I would do a good probiotic. Watch what you're eating. Probiotics are really good. You can also do a good gut cleanse. A good gut detox will help with that as well.
Is that this right here?
No, there's
that's
other
parasite.
ones. This does metals and parasites.
That's the good stuff. The metals.
So a lot of times bloating could be like an overgrowth of bacteria in the gut that you need to like have it cleaned out. Yeah.
Anybody else?
That's it.
That's it.
Hot diggity. Well, that's not really on a high note.
I know.
but it's good enough.
Yeah.
It's way better than the other.
Yeah,
So whoever, it's got to be a girl because you're in
Yeah.
premenopause.
Yep, it is.
Way to
And
go.
Natalie's on TikTok, so follow
Oh,
her
yeah.
on TikTok.
Yes.
Follow her on TikTok. Do we have her little thingy? Yeah, definitely follow her. You can watch her in her off time.
I'm trying
Gaming.
to come up with videos. I'm just nervous to do
ChatGPT
videos.
it.
Why?
They'll give
ChatGPT.
you content ideas.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
Yes. Tons.
I can help you.
We'll help you. Yeah. We got
That's
you.
true.
We got you.
They listen. They and ChatGPT. They're like
Besties.
this.
It's just a throuple over here.
It is.
Oh my gosh, that's truth. So yeah, what's your handle on TikTok?
I think it's Natalie FNP, I think it is.
Okay. I'm live on TikTok, so I can't look right now.
I think I'm friends with you.
Yeah,
You are. I think it's.
Let's look. You like something? I'm like,
Oh,
whoopsie.
wow.
I know.
It's just Natalie Iverson.
Yeah, Natalie at Natalie Iverson.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's easy.
I still can't figure it out. Oh, there you
my
are, right
gosh.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Natalie Iverson.
Okay.
What Vanessa said.
Exactly. Okay. And this is all of our information too. So if you want her to
Yeah.
be your doctor in your local, grab her.
And I
She's
do
the best.
telehealth throughout the state of Florida, just so people know.
Oh,
So if
okay.
they're looking for integrative medicine and functional medicine, yeah.
What are
Yeah.
some examples of that?
I'm sorry?
What are some examples of those two things you just said?
Integrative?
Yeah.
Integrative uses allopathic with functional, kind of brings them together.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's also it's what I love about, and I tell everybody about this. I always say it's a concierge service. Like,
Yes.
if you want like the best of the best, if you think that like it's an old fashioned doctor, that's what it is. And house calls and
House calls to Lee, Charlotte, and Sarasota County.
yeah,
I don't really go any further. Well, I've done DeSoto County too, because that's pretty. I'm kind of in the middle, so
but nobody does that anymore. And I'm telling
Very
you, we
few.
love it.
very few.
I'm a fan.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. Yeah. Well, you know, people are so weird about going to a doctor's office.
Yeah.
They're so weird. But
wanna
when the
go.
doctor comes to your environment,
Yeah.
like people are so weird. They're either scared or they don't want to be around us other sick people. So
That's
she
true.
comes to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't doesn't get any better than
I
that.
know.
So, yeah, give her a call.
Did you need to do your sponsor?
Oh my gosh, I do need to do my sponsor, but I can't do my sponsor because I don't have my verbiage. Because I don't have my computer because I left my computer at home today.
Look at
On
you.
accident. I went to find it before the podcast.
Oopsies.
That's why when you weren't here, when I didn't see you, but you were here, I was like, I'm in trouble. I screwed up the day. I'm like, I could have sworn she was coming this. I'm like, I'm in big trouble.
Well, you know what I did? My husband's like, "What time do you have to leave?" I said, "Oh, I have to leave at 3."
Oh, my-
And then I was sitting there and I went, "Wait a minute. No, I have to leave the house by 2 because it starts at 3." So I was here on time.
yeah.
I
Well,
actually left at 2. It was just traffic is like
terrible.
horrendous.
True.
Ugh.
True.
It's terrible.
It's the worst.
Yeah, no, I'll double up. I'll beg for forgiveness. They're easygoing. But well, thank you guys for joining us. Be here on Sunday because it is baptism Sunday
With the new
Wait.
carpet?
with the new carpet.
Not this.
no.
Not
We
this
got
Sunday.
provisions
Not
made.
this Sunday.
Not this Sunday.
Oh, it's not this Sunday.
No.
Wait a minute. That's right. This Sunday's is
still-
it's the 6th of April.
Yep. We're still in
My
March.
bad.
Yep. Yep.
I
So
I
close.
literally thought I
So
have been
close.
making provisions in my office right now for
Right.
the
You
first
have a whole nother week.
Sunday
Whole
in April.
week.
You're ahead of
I'm
the game.
lost, man. I had my calendar in April.
Nope.
Nope.
Not yet.
You're yeah.
Tuesday, April Fool's Day.
You're good.
Yep.
You're still good.
Then I would have missed Brinley's birthday.
Yeah.
Little Miss Brinley. So, okay, so it is not baptism Sunday,
No.
but we do have new carpet. So you're going to definitely
Yes,
want to
come
be
check
here.
it out.
Yep.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Good stuff.
Leave your coffee at.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
No
yes.
coffee.
No coffee.
No coffee.
No coffee.
Please,
Please.
for the love of Pete.
Just please.
Especially for the greeters.
Come on. Don't let me be the bad guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because Vanessa's going to be there, and she's nice.
I know.
She has
I
a
don't
hard
wanna be
time.
nice. Or
But
I
listen,
do want to be nice.
she wants to
I
be
don't
nice.
want to be the bad
Seriously.
She'll drop you just as soon as look at you if you try and get in there.
Yeah.
She'll bring the thug life out on you.
guy. I might have to wear my hoops on Sunday.
There you go.
I
You
do.
might have to. I think you're going to have to.
I think so.
They change everything.
They
I feel
do.
I'm back to myself.
I know it does.
Feeling
If I
herself.
ever I need confidence, I always bring
as
out the
big
hoops.
as I have.
Oh, you need bigger, baby.
Yeah, you got to go bigger. Go
Yeah.
big or go home.
For
Oh my
real. When it
gosh.
comes to the hoops, especially. So we'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for joining us. And if you don't live in the area, you can tune in live stream on Rumble. Rumble's the ticket for Foundation Church. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Real talk.